Our 8400R, it's a standard steering front end, which there's two options, standard steering or ACS. ACS has a set of gyroscopes. It's basically electric steer. I'm back and forth on it. The ACS is nice for the sheer simplicity of light amount of turns, but you have to calibrate it. It's a higher price option, and you don't get the natural resistance in the wheel like you do with standard steering. So this 8400R has the standard steering, the 8360 has the ACS. But the standard steering, I don't like the steering wheel size. These have a large wheel in them, and it actually wears my shoulder out at the end of the day. So the ACS uses a smaller steering wheel, like this, which you can turn adequately just fine under a regular steering wheel. So you can see the noticeable size difference. Another problem I have is where it comes down, it'll hit you in the thighs. It's just a much bigger wheel. The wheel has to be tilted up higher. So changing that over on this 8400 to the ACS steering wheel. I'm loving the small steering wheel. It's not bothering my shoulder to steer it. It's easier, more comfortable, got more room for my legs to swing under it. It's great, love it. Here's the meter on an ExactEmerge. I got the door open. In the door, this little star wheel eliminates your doubles. To go to corn, you set these little fingers here in the middle. There's your brush delivery system right there. And down here, there's a little strip that goes in with 3 pop tabs. And you put the ruffled one in for corn, and you put a smooth one in for soybeans. And you change out your bowls, which I have a box full here. These are a 32 cell for corn, and you use, I think it's a 62 or 64 cell for soybeans. Can't remember how many cells, it's around 60. But you change those 2 pieces out, and that's pretty much your only changeover from corn to soybeans is this and the bowl. Well, spring has sprung, the anhydrous is done, and we are planting. And yes, I'm manually straight tracking this because I want to clean up this little jog. There's a little bit of a tile outlet, I don't know what you call it, through the fence there. It's just basically a chunk of tile, if you can see it right there. It controls a low spot, so I can always try to straighten these rows out. And for you that watch on a regular basis, this was the grounded anhydrous in January, which is working up very, very nicely and retained its moisture quite well. The things that we anhydrous this spring, they're dry. Basically, we haven't had a rain for over a month now, and we need one. And things are drying out at a rapid rate. 80 degrees this week and a wind. We're actually quite dry. I'm putting the corn down around 2 inches, 2 1/4 inches to get moisture. There's some places I worked down some sod ground around some field borders on a new farm, and that's just powder clumps, and it really needs a rain before we even plant it. It amazes me how we went from so wet to absolute powder in a matter of a few days. Well, as long as we get good rains, and the old adage stands true, you plant in dust, the bins will bust. I think we'll have a fair corn market this year because we got $3.99 corn. That's local cage price and some of the ethanol plants for next summer, which has a little profitability in it, pending we have the sheer yields that we've been having over the past few years. Now on soybeans, there's just absolutely no hope. No matter how you crunch the numbers, it just doesn't seem like there's much in it. The only hope with soybeans would be to raise something that's replantable, such as like a Liberty Link bean or something of that nature that you can replant out of your own grain bin. That way you don't have the seed costs. But there's just little to no money in soybeans, and every day I listen to the radio, and I expect to maybe hear some positive news, and they talk about China and what they're doing, trade talks. Well, the other day they finally confessed that, a month off, then pretty soon, oh, well, there's nothing in the immediate future, so the market crashes a little bit more. Wheat, there's a major shortage of good acres, yet for some reason the price continues to go down. Our wheat's coming along looking good, and again, it needs a rain though. Yeah, I went ahead and put the dry in on it, but those pellets of urea, they like to vaporize if they don't get rain. So knock on wood, we'll hope we'll get a little bit of moisture in here soon. I don't think that the Chinese are going to give in anytime soon. I think Trump kind of boxed himself in a corner with some very quick decisions. I understand what the goal was, but I don't see a possible solution here anytime soon. So I have been considering doing a few acres of corn on corn this year, which it's a business. Farming is a business. While we like to maintain a rotation, and you got to make money too. So at the end of the day, I don't see that in the soybean market. However, our soil conditions and lack of rainfall here are not setting up to be too conducive for those kind of operations. Well, as you guys saw there in the earlier clips, the planter had to be changed over to corn. We had it pretty well cleaned out and everything partially ready to go. When we left off soybeans last year, cleaned the planter up, put it away. But with all the custom hydrous that I pulled this year, and just the way that the years went in general, we went from snow in March and below average temps to just running our rear ends off overnight. So maybe I should have been on the ball this winter a little bit better and had some of those things already put in the planter, like the corn discs and stuff, but it didn't take too long to get everything greased and set. The biggest thing that took time was just get all this crap set. And it's amazing, however, just the winter time, things can almost like they stop working, and re-getting new settings and stuff. And last year I never did get my offsets perfect. I spent a bunch of time yesterday when I was doing the first 20 acres of planting. I spent a bunch of time getting everything entered in correctly so it'll work properly. And it's doing a nice job. We're planting nice and even. I'm only going about 4.5 mile an hour right now, so I can shoot this video. But this is an exact emerge planter, and it has capabilities up around 10 miles per hour. It does a quite nice job. Some guys are going out this spring and they're working their ground, basically making clods, powdered clods, trying to break up where they compacted things from the anhydrous. Other guys are just going ahead and planting it. I am going to run the colders and the residue managers just to give it the extra cut. I'm going a little slower. This ground here where we did last winter it's a little more mellow. You can see the clumps in it if you look carefully, but it's just because there's like an inch of frost in it when anhydrous that. But it's still sealed very well, and just too bad we didn't have 4 or 5 good days. Then I would have had a lot more anhydrous on. I always like to do it in the fall, even though I think you'll do lose a little bit more than you do proportion in spring. But this year was a good testament as to why I don't like to do it in the spring, is you just don't have the time. You're just strapped, and also I just don't think the seed beds is as well off. You know, it's just so nice and mellow when you have fall applied. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll get another government payment this year on these soybeans. Then they'll be worth planting. As far as I'm concerned, if Chevy's going to go to China, why are we punishing the farmers? How about just banning the Chevy cars they're producing over there? It'd be more justice screwing us over for products that we're already raising. They're dirt cheap. Basically, if you look at soybeans right now, it's whatever it costs to put them in the ground is about what you're going to get out of them. You essentially made no money for any updates of equipment or anything. But I think once the farm crisis starts burning banks, I think maybe the government will wake up then. They don't seem to care about what happens to your food until it burns the banks. Then they'll start to listen. Well, there's going to be a lot more spring videos coming. And on a note of finances, everything I'm working on is geared for what I intend to do going forward. And that's something you guys are just got to stay tuned and watch out for, including a, let's just say, shipment next week. Could be one item, probably more like 3. You just never know. Anyway, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Good things are coming my way. Just gonna keep working for them.